Welcome to the Swervey Jones Show on RiseandShineNetwork.com. I am your host, Swervey Jones. Running the broadcast, as always, is your boy Bouillon. And how we roll. Heavily anticipated, with crazy scheduling that just did not want to work out the way it should have. We got my boy Eddie Sampson.
Fucking good, you know. There were ones that Bronson texted me one morning at like 3 in the morning. He's like, "Yo, I think I woke the neighbors laughing at this fucking scene," and that was the one I was worrying about. So I'm like, "Well, all right, man, that's fucking." You don't send someone that at 3 in the morning if it's not legit.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I'm not gonna bother you unless I really
smoke up your ass brainwashing comments to get you to do shit.
That's the when you get to Blaine, middle of the day, just. Yeah. Oh yeah, man, it was good.
Yeah.
No, don't
great.
worry, yeah.
That was very bland.
Next.
He didn't have no emotion in that. I suck balls.
And didn't that originally started just as one episode, right? And now it's turned into like this whole.
Yeah, give a rundown of the whole. Only Another Day.
At first, it was Bronson's idea to follow through with storyboards and a story that.
Who's Bronson?
Bronson is the brother of a chick I grew up with, Darian Mosley.
So it's a buddy of yours.
I've never known him until I started agreeing to do this.
Friend of a friend.
Teaming together, they're a brother and sister.
Or they're okay.
Yeah. So they've been just constantly doing everything together, all the editing and all the whole 9 yards, all the promotion.
And they wrote like a little
the shit out of
like a little script, screenplay type thing.
He's got a whole storyboard with a whole storyline.
We want you, beard guy.
Yeah. Which I'm shaving after it's over.
You're almost done with it, right?
The shooting for it? I'm actually done filming with it, but there's at the Art Walk in Ocala, the first Friday Art Walk, we're gonna have our own booth, and so it's all orchestrated with whoever does.
That's in Ocala.
Art walks, in Ocala at the square.
When is that?
First Friday of every month, I believe.
Okay. Do they go every month? They do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool.
And
cool.
For Only Another Day, we've showed up there a bunch promoting it, and he would. Bronson was dressing up zombies in public, promoting what he was doing. And this is before anything got filmed. That's why I was like kind of nervous about agreeing to do it. I'm like, man, you've been promoting all this shit. What if the bottom falls out and nothing ever happens? It's the first thing you never know. You never know what kind of weird problem could come out and just totally shit the bed that you didn't even have control over.
Yeah.
But it's and again, it proved I proved myself to not worry about shit like that because promotion's been a very good thing. Like,
you were terrified.
I was, man.
Wondering if you were gonna do well and if they were gonna like you.
Yeah, because you know, at this point, Mr. White was the only time I've been on camera.
Yeah.
So Mr. White was the first film you did where you were put on camera.
Yeah.
Now what?
He said Mr. White was the first film I had ever done on camera. So Mr. White was the first film you've ever done on camera.
That's how it works. That's how it works.
Right.
Or was in.
You can't laugh and interrupt in the middle of what I'm doing a whole thing to build to something.
Damn, it's hot out here.
I repeat what he says.
I bet you.
I repeat what he says to lead up to where I can plug the Facebook for Only Another Day.
Get out of there.
Anyway, so Mr. White was the first time you were on camera.
Hey Eddie, I thought Mr. White was the first film.
So
that you
before
ever did.
Mr. White, how many films had you been in?
None.
And then what? You did another movie that you did a little scene in.
Oh, that was Shallow
Yeah,
Point.
Shallow
And that
Point.
was in between Mr. White and Only Another Day.
During Only Another Day.
Okay, and you're still, but you just recently finished up on Only Another Day.
Yeah. Like I was saying, it started out as a birthday thing for him to try to chase down the script that he had. And he's like, we're gonna shoot all this in 2 days. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I did another movie already.
Yeah.
First movie I was ever in was Mr. White.
He was in like one scene that took like 6 hours.
Yeah.
he was like, "There's no way this is all gonna film." In
With one experience, I can evaluate
Yeah.
that. You're not doing that shit in 2
Now
days.
you're a zombie hunter in Only Another Day?
Well, I'm a drifter who's been living in the woods, ex-government.
How much can you talk about it? I mean, because you don't want to.
We were actually talking about this in the car on the way here. It's weird to think about what to talk about because you don't want to give away heavy plot things that hold very good, intriguing stuff. But you have to,
There's no hard and fast
Well,
rules.
I think if you
so
just
like on what you
It's,
can and can't say. Usually we just say stuff and then people are like, "Why'd you say that? That was way too much."
Yeah, you don't want to put too much out there though, because you don't want to spoil it before it's out.
Being ex-government, living in the woods during an apocalypse is
it's kind of your character setting.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see this because of your character. I'm gonna be honest.
Thank you.
I'm very to see you up in a tree with a rifle.
Well, them pictures are from the first weekend we filmed, and I don't even think any of that is going to end up in the film.
Yeah, it ended up. It started out as like a 2-day thing, right? It ended up being like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, every weekend, and there's also production meetings in the middle of the week, and which are great because everyone gets on the same page. You can see where you're going, what you have. Yeah, and when the media was at one of the Rockin' Dead events, we did a Rockin' Dead event, and it had 3 bands playing, crowd participation, and that went really well.
That's also out in Ocala, right?
That was actually in Bellevue at the Ghost Rider Saloon.
That whole Ocala's like scene is so tight. Yeah. Like it is like everything from the music, the local music. Because I've been a part of the local music scene in Ocala before, and it's people like you out there. It's the whole group of the music, the film, like that whole group of people is intertwined. Yeah.
Man, I didn't realize how many talented people in many different ways there are in this town until I really started getting into entertainment. As far
getting to know the people that do entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, there's another director trying to doing a movie, starting his whole thing off. I'm gonna be a zombie in his thing. Just to be a zombie and to say I can do, also I'm a creature too.
I can hunt zombies and I can be a zombie.
It's intriguing because, okay, let me put the makeup on. Because for 4 months now I've been watching people get all makeup up and I don't have to.
So you like putting makeup on.
Maybe blood and gore, yeah.
What's that one called?
The musical Apocalypse.
Oh,
Eric C. is doing it.
Is that going to be like a film or a movie, or is it going to be like a Broadway kind of thing?
It's a movie. He's aiming for a movie. He's got a real deep.
I'm saying because that would be awesome, like a live musical.
He's got different kinds of music.
Think about it. When was the last rock musical?
Like the
70s or some shit?
Lipstick horror picture show.
That's gayness though.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about that.
Well,
as far as knowing when something like that got done, I don't know.
Are we counting Rock of Ages? Because I don't really count that.
No, I mean like actual Broadway performance. Oh. Rock Broadway kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because there was, I can't remember the name of it. The last one.
Have you ever been to a Motley Crue concert? Because that's kind of the same thing.
Where's my stage motorcycle?
Whenever you have, motorcycles and stuff on the stage, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's kind of Broadway.
I've never seen Motley Crue. I have seen Guar.
They're amazing.
You ever seen Guar?
No, I've never seen Guar.
As a horror director, I would advise going and watching Guar. Guar.
They love their horror.
Because it's they go the extra mile on stage, and it's a theatrical piece of a horror movie.
Is
essentially, yeah. Because it's like monsters everywhere, and big metal outfits, and there's 2 gimps fighting on stage with giant swords. And,
oh my god!
They have like Arnold Schwarzenegger come out like this big giant costume, and they cut his hand off, and blood squirts out of his hand, and it's amazing.
I would love this. I need to.
Definitely go see Guar if you can, because they put on a hell of a show.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're still touring and everything?
Oh, yeah.
They have a new album coming out.
Oh, man.
Pretty soon, I think.
All right.
And I'm not a Guar fan by any means. Like
I came here to educate y'all, and y'all educated me.
It's amazing to see them live. But like I've said before, don't eat chili fries while you're watching them, because it might make you sick, because it looks a lot the same as what's on stage. But
I was just telling Eddie in the car about this film I saw in the 80s that I totally loved. It's called Dead Alive, and the first time I ever watched it, I was eating spaghetti when he's like mowing this like zombie girl over with a lawnmower, and she's like throwing her in pieces, and I'm like, maybe not the best food choice for this film.
Well, it tastes good though.
Yeah,
it looks like what I'm eating. Check out Facebook.com/OnlyAnotherDay. That's Eddie's. It started out as like a web series.
Yeah,
right?
we're gonna do a web series. And when I first started doing it, I really didn't realize it because I didn't think about it. I just thought about the script and I was chasing down that. And when I'm sitting in the tree and someone's like, "Oh, it's gonna be a web series," I'm like, "What? You gotta be fucking kidding me!" I didn't. Kind of caught me off guard, and I'm actually glad it turned into a movie now because we ended up getting just so much footage, and with the whole rock concert gig combined with it, it just grew. And they got local radio station Sky. They got them involved. They killed a DJ in it. So they,
They killed the DJ in the...
Yeah. So
That's
we
awesome.
got radio stations
Is he playing
involved.
the DJ in the movie?
Yeah. We got radio stations involved. The Appleton
Nice.
Museum was involved.
Nice.
So it's grown into
It's really
this
amazing.
big community collaboration of like probably over 100 people joining and helping, and endless amount of camera people, and just to be a part of that.
We're gonna try to set up something and get those guys out here too, right?
Yeah. I talked to him about it already. He said, "Cool."
A couple months or so, we'll have you back,
Yeah.
and then
And
you know, like 3 or 4 months, we have you back on when the movie comes out.
Yeah.
I told him it'd be good timing because it'll be after they play it at the movie theater in the drive-in Ocala on March 23rd, and in between DVDs and things getting out like that. So it's like the premiere, and then now we can work on the product.
It's exciting. I love it. So many people are involved in that project. It's amazing to see. Like, because I remember when Eddie was just telling me, they came at me, they gave me the script. What do you think? Should I do? Should I do? Should I not?
Dude.
Yeah. He was a little panicked, but I'm like, calm down, take a breath. It's okay. And I like in the coming weeks, I've seen so many people get involved with. So many people from my own film have gotten involved with. I think the last count was like 13 people from my film are involved in this one, and it's great to see because it's not just 1 or 2 little things anymore. It's like everybody's coming together and working together for one project, and I love seeing the community do that.
It's impressive when you meet like new people with cameras you have to work with, and he's like, "We're gonna do this from this angle and that," and I'm like, this was Jake Jacobowitz. I didn't even know him at this time, and I'm like,
he's in Mr.
I was standing in a different spot, and I'm like, "Nah, man, try this angle out. Check this out. What do you think of that?" And he's like, "You're right. We'll do that." I'm like, "Sweet." Glad it wasn't like some big-headed, I got the camera type of shit, because that's not. There's no time for things of that nature. There's, we're adding scenes as we go, sticking to the script scenes.
If he doesn't quite know what he's for sure going to do with it, any opinion's going to be worth it.
Things just seem to always go so much more smooth when it's like humble.
When
you approach everything with just kind of like,
I do
it
that.
is what it is,
I do that too. I have people come up to me when I'm filming, and they're like, "I don't want to step on your toes or anything, but can I just throw this suggestion out there?" I'm like, "Absolutely," and they're like,
"Doesn't mean I'm going to use it."
Well, it doesn't mean I'm going to use it, but
let me hear it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean I'm going to use it, but at the same time, sometimes people come up with better ideas than I have, and I'm like, I'm totally going to.
You might have that moment where you're like, holy shit, that's genius!
Genius. I try to always give them credit for it, but at the same time, it makes us all look good. It's like, people are always like, that one scene, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, that wasn't my idea, but wasn't it awesome? And they're like, you never would have heard about that if you hadn't listened to me, so thank you for actually taking what I said seriously.
And see, everybody's been through different,
I'm not a genius.
Different stuff, so you might experience something that that somebody might have been doing it longer than you, but you might have saw something, you might have been in that particular.
It's a respect thing for that type of thing to go down. Like I've been doing structural steel. This guy David Brown up north I used to work with. I still talk with him. One day I'm like, "Sorry, so what's our next step?" He's like, "I don't know, Ed. What's our next step?" I'm like, "Man, you've been doing this a lot longer." He said, "So what? You might see something that I don't fucking see. That's gonna help the big picture." So I'm like, "Man, you're right." Yeah. And just that builds a kind of relationship that we might have to talk less and we can accomplish it because we just look at each other, business time, cool, this, that. Go with what's good.
Has she seen the fly that you made?
Oh, yeah.
The Honda fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got like a brief second in the film.
Oh, does it really?
Yeah,
nice.
That's right.
Nice.
We actually, it was generous enough
Did I tell you about the fly he made, Bouillon?
No.
Oh, it's amazing.
He took... This is what made me go like... When I seen the fly just sitting there, I was like, "Who did that fly?" Because I'm into art and entertainment and stuff, and I see this fly sitting there. I was like, "Who did that fly?" And they're like, "Eddie, the new welder guy." I was like, "Bring him to me,"
And it's a gas tank.
Yeah, it started out.
Right?
It started out
motorcycle.
It started out a Honda gas tank that the shop.
It's amazing. This thing is like what is it? Like a two
foot by a foot and a half.
And by
big,
like
giant
2.5 foot tall.
Fly sculpture.
It's amazing.
The wings cut out.
Something you'd see in a gallery.
What you used like expanded metal for the eyes. Rolled it.
Stainless steel net.
Yeah.
But it come out cool. I didn't know what it was going to be in the beginning. I cleaned the tank and looked at it and saw the face kind of thing, and I'm like, fly, house fly. Yeah,
that shit was cool. Weren't you working on mural for some city or something? Remember what? Or you said you weren't sure if that was going to happen.
Yeah, when I first, I actually had my metal art in an art store in Bellevue there, and she was starting to get an art book that had all the local artists in it, and she wanted to do a sculpture that was going to be in front of her. Donna is her name. So she wanted to do a sculpture in front of City Hall where she wanted to put it, and it was like a family. A man and a woman holding hands, and a child holding the hand of the mom, like kind of family in the line, and they're looking up, kind of for help in their face. And she said she wanted half of them kind of blown away. It'd be like metal art and plaster and
like a combination piece.
Yeah, mixed media.
And just the idea of having people getting blown away in front of City Hall is pretty cool. I kind of was thinking of Terminator. I'm like, what? She's holding that thing.
That would be cool.
That's kind of I had my art in her store, and I took it out for Mr. White, and I even told her, I'm like, I'll put it back up for sale and everything as movie memorabilia, because now that's what it is.
That's more valuable.
So, so I'm just, I just wait and see how the movie does, and why not have that option, because you never know. You never.
Yeah, I mean,
so leave your every option.
Any one of the projects you're working on could all of a sudden be that one that makes $50 million or something.
Yeah, like the little umbrella that guy made for drinks. He's rich as stink.
Yeah.
Stupid idea. I got it, though. I have money for toothpicks and little umbrellas.
But like we were talking about that compared to whale staplers. Like those, like I get, because tropical drink, put a tropical thing. Okay, I'm in the beach. Ha ha ha. Watch me get drunk and pretend I'm in the beach.
Well, what the fuck does a whale have to do with
whale
stapling papers together? I'll never.
Maybe they put money to save the whales. Who knows? But I was like, whale staplers.
I bet you they don't. They probably just keep it.
Most charity things.
It probably goes towards the Japanese hunting whales.
It's like Susan G. Coleman. Like 75% of their money goes into the pockets of like the employees and the CEOs and all that shit.
Ouch.
And then the rest of it gets split up. The other 25% gets split up between like promotion and all this other stuff.
I used to donate to like cancer causes, and then I got cancer when I was 19. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I went to that. Like I had a ton of friends that were like donating hair to like Lots of Love and this and that. And then so I got cancer. I'm like, okay, wait, I've got options here.
Do you still have cancer?
No, I'm.
So you're
like
cancer
7 years.
survivor.
Yeah, 7 years free. But thank God. And applause.
We used to be set up like that where we had sound effects. We don't have that.
Well, we'll just pretend insert here, but. No, so I went to Locks of Love and was like, I had hair down below my ass, and I was like, can you shave me bald and make a wig for me out of my own hair? We'll pay for it and everything. I know you do that. We've donated, and they're like, no. They were like, you're 18, or you're 19, and they're like, if you're 18 or younger, we would do it for you. And I was like, okay, I see how this is going. My whole life is in shambles right now, and you can't make me a wig out of my own hair. I got you. And then we went to go
jerk
walk.
Face.
They have this walk in Ocala and everything, where it's like walk for Hodgkin's lymphoma, and you you go on the what is it? You like a marathon or something like that, and. I tried to sign up. I had cancer. I had tumors in my throat.
Yeah.
I had a doctor's note in my hand and was like, I would like to walk in this, for all my fellow, lymphoma.
But they want you to pay $1,500.
No, they were like, no.
Wow.
And I was like, why? And they were like, well, you didn't sign up 3 months ago or whatever. And I was
I was busy with this.
I said, so can I have a shirt? Can I have a shirt? A support? And they were like, no.
No.
I was like, I have.
We're walking for people like you, but you can go fuck yourself.
I was like, I have Hodgkin's lymphoma. What are you guys really doing for us? I was like, this is a scam. What the hell?
Crazy.
You're breaking a bank. We can't give you a shirt.
Well, that's like with Susan G. Coleman. If you sign up to pledge to go do their shit or whatever, you have to pay $2,500.
What?
Yeah.
They're like, you have to pledge. You have to get so much money from people. And whatever amount you don't get, so you have to pay the rest.
You can't help an event for charity without having to fucking pay money?
Yeah, basically. What it is there's okay, you got to raise $2,500.
Yeah.
So you go out and you get as much as you can, and you might not hit the $2,500. Well, then they expect you to pay the rest of the $2,500. So, like, let's say you work your ass off and you only are able to get $1,000. Well, they want you to pay the other $1,500.
I wish I had $1,000.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I used to work at.
I need some charity.
I used to work at Hollywood Video before they went out of business. I worked there for years, and they had this thing called a Playguard. Did you ever go to Hollywood Video?
No,
no. Okay, they had this thing called Playguard, where for like 25 cents. Every time you ran a movie, they would donate it to their cancer center. And so I was like, okay, but everyone was getting so annoyed that we had to ask them every time, and we had to like push it. It wasn't like you can say no. It was like you had to sell a certain amount of these Playguards per week, or you lose your job. I've seen people get fired for it.
Wow.
So I did a little research and was like, okay, well, let's see where this Playguard's going. And they're like, oh, well, it's going to our Hollywood Video our cancer center. And I said, okay, well, I need some more information. Turns out I can say this now because they're having. No, it turns out their cancer center was a room in Los Angeles, a small room in Los Angeles with a big screen TV, 2 love seats, and a little game station. I was like, and we're all across the nation collecting 25 cents constantly.
So somebody has a little private man cave off on the strip.
So like 5 kids can enjoy cartoons that they can. What?
Yeah.
The same thing you do. I'm like, where is this money going? Where?
If you're gonna really donate to something, the best thing to do, especially like cancer, go find somebody that has cancer and
give
them
the money to them.
Yeah.
Say, you know what? I want to take you out to lunch. I feel bad for you.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
like thanking a vet in the parking lot instead of liking something on Facebook.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I heard a guy call into morning radio one time that he was like, I'm not tooting my own horn. He's like, I don't want my name. I don't want you to put my name. I just want to tell you what I did. He's like, I went to the hospital and I waited till I saw somebody that looked like a cancer patient. And I walked up to him and was like, excuse me, do you have cancer?
Here's $1,000.
Yeah, and he was like, "Here's $1,000," and just gave him $1,000.
That's amazing.
He said both of them started crying and everything, but he's like, "Look, he's like, no, just take it and use what you need to do."
That's so much better than buying pink breast cancer ladles and scissors for your house, because none of that shit, like a tiny fraction of that shit, is actually going to help anyone with cancer.
And that dude's gonna take that money and make his life a better place to live for a moment while he's suffering. So that's
I'm gonna throw this out there because we're talking about cancer. If you haven't seen Brzezinski the movie, watch that documentary. This guy, they used to call him the Pee Doctor, which is kind of like, oh shit, it's called the Pee Doctor.
Damn, I'm the pee guy.
But what he figured out is people who have cancer are missing a certain enzyme that people that don't have cancer have. So he developed he was collecting urine and blood and stuff and created a synthetic enzyme that would replace the enzyme that cancer patients don't have. Well, it's like changed people's lives. He's actually like curing cancer.
Wow.
He's been indicted like 9 times by the FDA, and like they've tried to shut this guy down and like get rid of him.
What the fuck?
Because he owns,
and he's not asking for $1 billion.
Because he owns the patent.
So what?
They don't own the patent. He owns the patent.
There's no money in the cure. There's no
so they're
money
trying to
in curing cancer. There's money in treating cancer.
Exactly. So
and what sounds like my oncologist is dead. Like, he died of cancer. Like, that scares me. Just to tell you, that very. I just went and filmed a virtual tour at someone's house, and the realtors like show me all around. She's like, yeah, he was an oncologist. I'm like, oh yeah, where at? And he's right here in town, actually. And she said his name, and I'm like,
wow.
Okay, my cancer doctor died of cancer. That's not. That does not give me a lot of faith.
Well, it's just like the marijuana stuff about curing cancer.
Yeah.
There's a documentary called "Run from the Cure." Isn't that what it's called?
Yeah.
This guy, this old guy, just happened to hear something way back in the day about marijuana could maybe help cure cancer. Well, he ended up getting skin cancer and was like, remembered that he had heard that when he was younger. So he starts talking to doctors about it and stuff, and they're all, marijuana's bad, blah, 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 blah. Well, he's like, fuck it, I'm going to...
Which is why they prescribe it for you when you have cancer.
Well, so he ended up saying, after talking to a bunch of people and stuff, he made a resin extract and started putting it on Band-Aids and putting it over his skin.
Oh, there you go.
And it cured his skin cancer.
Yeah.
Marijuana resin extracts cured his skin cancer.
I did a lot of research on, like when I had it, did a lot of research on this thing called Essiac tea. that they developed in Canada, like, in the 40s. And they tried to shut this woman down and shut her down. And she took terminal cancer patients and cured every one of them by injecting this tea formula that the Indians, like, had created. It's like an ancient Indian kind of thing. And she was, like, injecting it into the tumors and making them drink shots of it. I drank it when I had cancer because now they just sell it as a tea. Like, they can't market it as a cancer aid or anything like that because they'll be taken off the market. But I highly recommend it. They told me they did all my scans. They were like, we thought you would need 6 months of chemotherapy and everything, and then a bunch of radiation after that. 2 months I was tumor free, and they were like,
see,
are you fucking kidding me?
They cockblock the shit out of stuff like that.
Wow. And I didn't tell them that I was taking that because I knew that they would just be like, stop. Because all the research I did on cancer when I had it, the doctor was like, no, there's no proof that
that's not gonna make me money.
There's no proof that sugar feeds cancer. Really? Then why did you just put glucose in my veins to see how far my cancer is spread? That makes no sense. You make no sense.
That's always been my whole thing with like vaccines. Like they're like,
it's scary.
It's good. They say, it amps your immune system up and all this, and I'm like,
because you're giving me the bird flu. I don't want it.
You're bypassing the immune system. Like your immune system works by what is trying to come in, and your body fights it off before it can get in there.
You're putting in
but they're bypassing right into your bloodstream. With a disease.
Disease.
I'd rather eat local honey than fucking get shot up with the flu bird virus.
I mean, shit. I've worked at a steel shop for 8 years, and I'm sure you've worked at steel shops for just as long, if not longer.
Yep.
I haven't had a tetanus shot since I was a kid. You know.
Yeah.
And I've had no problems. I've ripped skin off with rusty rebar
metal,
and and no infection or nothing.
Do not try this at home, kids.
And what's crazy is you get.
We do not condone any of this.
There's another good documentary. It's called like Clearing the Smoke or The Art of Clearing the Smoke, and it talks about prohibition and how before we became illegal, it was prescribed heavily by but they didn't know it. Like, the doctors didn't know it as marijuana. They knew it as cannabis. And that's what they prescribed it as. And when the Marijuana Tax Act came through and they actually made it illegal, they did it by calling it marijuana. And most of the doctors didn't get involved. They didn't know anything about it.
They didn't know what marijuana was.
As soon as it passed.
It was a made-up word that they just put on it.
They were like, sure, we'll vote for that.
Right. As soon as it passed, most of the doctors were like, wait, all of a sudden now you're restricted. You can't do that anymore. They're like, wait, whoa. What do you mean? Like,
it's too late. It's been passed. Shut up. No, let's move on and put more shit. Rabble.
There's a lot of good doctors, old doctors that went through it in that documentary that talk about how it really happened and came about. And then you see, even one of them had something. I don't know if it was cancer or what it was, but something his son had, and it's turned around and he started using weed. Illegally though, and he was a doctor anyway, and he was like, "Fuck it, if it's working, it's working."
I gotta do what I gotta do. I saw this documentary.
So many good things about it though.
Yeah, there is.
And then Colorado just like legalizes it, and guess what? Colorado didn't just fall off the face of the planet. It didn't explode. Nobody, there's not massive riots and panic in the streets.
No one's
and
gonna fist fight over a
raping
joint,
babies.
Stop
And,
we talk about this almost every show. Like prohibition is the biggest. The biggest thing. Like, trying to tell somebody that
they
cannot have something
and they won't.
Makes it happen.
Well,
it makes it happen,
especially if they need it for a crazy reason.
Right. Yeah.
Matter of fact,
especially if it's good.
It was last night we were talking about people that put viral in their videos. You're trying to tell the internet what to do when you do that. It's not going to go viral when you do that. Like people like did you see the Barack Obama gun photo? Like where he's like holding a gun, it came out. The White House said.
I saw the Beyonce
photo.
The White House made a memo and said, "Do not Photoshop this photo." What's the first fucking thing the internet did? They were like,
that was the same thing
can't
with the
do
Beyonce, the Beyonce Super Bowl photo, where they were like, horrible. "Take this off the internet, please do not share this photo," and it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
That's your face. You're selling your face, and someone got a picture.
Like
the best thing to do.
That
the best thing to do, like if
embrace it.
Beyonce's label and Beyonce and Jay-Z and whatever, what they should have did when that picture came out, she's all fucking dieseled out looking. just been like, that's funny.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it would have
Yeah.
went away. It would have
Yeah.
totally went away.
Somebody posted her head on a Rambo.
Yeah,
I saw
I had an old
I
Rambo
saw
toy that looked just like that.
I saw
It had a
uh,
Stallone face.
Ultimate Warrior. Like they put her in a ring and like
Yeah.
put the bands on with the face
It's so
paint.
funny now.
And she
because-
looks so much like the Ultimate Warrior.
That's weird.
Because
It's
she fought
hilarious.
it. Like, if you had not fought that, it would not be a problem on the
Yeah.
internet right
Yeah.
now. But people were like, I have like all these photographer friends that were sharing it on my Facebook. Like, one right after another was
Yeah.
like, this is why we don't share all of your wedding photos with you brides and stuff
yeah.
like that. And people were using it like to illustrate points and things like that. I was like, don't tell someone not to do something
No.
you
Yeah.
don't want them
Yeah.
to do.
Every time they do something like
Laugh
that,
it
it pushes
off
it.
and move on,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It pushes it to the dark corners
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
society.
Humor,
You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah.
Like everything.
Yeah, how
Anything that
bad
gets-
can I fuck with this now?
Yeah.
Because they don't want it.
Check
Yeah.
that out.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one.
Ultimate Warrior, we miss you. Yes.
And you know what's sad? She probably practiced so long, so hard, and this was like such a big deal for her. You know
Yeah.
that. You know
Yeah,
this
oh
is like
yeah.
one of the high points of
Yeah.
her life. And now because she fought that, that's all anyone's ever
Yeah.
gonna remember.
Yeah.
of
Remember
her.
instead of
They're
that.
gonna
Beyonce
remember you
Super Bowl.
Yeah,
looking like a man.
Yeah.
That's it for
I
years.
look like a man.
For years, you know, that was like the Lil' Kim, like when her tit fell out. That's like the same kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, but the difference between Beyonce and like
Hers was,
Little
like,
Kim
intentional,
is
yeah.
Little Kim
It's
is like
oh whoops,
She's
that
wrong.
just
She's
fell
wrong.
out?
Yeah.
She's like, oh look, I'm about to lick it. Yeah.
Little Kim is like,
Yeah.
bitch, I will whip a titty out.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
you know.
I'm gonna slap a condom on my eye.
I mean, she's got songs talking about getting dick fucked in the ass.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
like,
yeah.
I don't know if it's that deep, but you know,
Yeah,
there's some
yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
out there that like she gets
Some
really
shit,
vulgar
right?
in.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
she does it,
She
it's
don't
like,
care about
oh,
it.
oh,
Yeah.
cool, I gotta see
Yeah.
her titty, you know.
Yeah.
Female horror shock.
Beyonce,
Yeah.
Beyonce does something like that. And it's like, please don't Photoshop that.
Yeah.
We're gonna
She's-
fucking mutilate that picture.
Oh yeah, you were never gonna
You're
see
done
the end
for.
of this.
Yeah.
You're
You
never
know?
gonna see the end.
Next
of
you're
it.
gonna see it
done
on
for.
animal bodies.
Yeah.
But so let's get into Mr. White or just
Wanna
Erica
watch the trailer
Summers
real
in
quick?
general.
Oh,
What?
thank you.
Want to run the trailer real quick?
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
that. Let's
sure.
run the trailer and then we'll get into who you are and what you
Okay.
did and all that. So
Sounds
yeah,
good.
run the trailer.
You may not see him, but I promise he's there. Thick, sharpened teeth.
Looks like my girl.
And thin, mangy hair. Deep drawn-in eyes. Scalp all scarred. 7 feet high. And horrendously marked. He sees the whole truth. So don't try to lie. There's no escape when it's your turn to die. Vengeance, his mission. Torture, his thrill.
Was it just one? One what? I don't even know what it was.
Draws you into darkness
No.
May you rot in hell.
and then makes his kill. You can hope for protection.
You told us a story, and this thing is after us.
With this hex, Mr. White, I curse your wicked soul.
Prepare for the fight.
I want to see my daughter! This is my house!
But nothing can save you. From mean Mr. White.
I haven't seen that in so long.
Oh, we've been zoned in on that
I
thing,
love
buddy.
it.
We've watched the crap out of that.
It is intriguing. It's
Thank
got, like,
you
little
so
flash
much.
It's
shots
been
of cool shit.
yeah, it's got to been like the last couple month and a half we've been playing it, at least maybe 2 months,
That's wonderful.
something like that.
I keep every time I log on to like share the link with somebody else, I'm like, oh my god, how many hits is that? That's great.
Sweet.
It is cool
Sweet.
watching shit grow. Like
It
yeah,
is.
So Erica Summers, writer, editor, director, Mr. White.
I just prefer the term filmmaker. It makes me sound a little less full of myself. Like
But I
do.
mean, you know, you are doing it all. You gotta, hey.
Yeah.
And how many films have you did like that?
Five.
Five
in the
of them you-
Yeah, 5 features and a short.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you did 6 total.
Yes. Well, some of them I don't really count because they're not like on Amazon. Like people are like, where can I buy copies of them? So I'm like, you can't. There's no the only copy in existence is in my home.
Wow.
So, you know, yeah, there's a few that I'm like, they were great learning experiences. Like my first film was such a fun experience, and it was such a great like learning tool.
When did you start? Like, what was the beginning of? Let's do this. When did you say I'm gonna be a film? I want to do this is what I want to do.
Okay, here's the story.
And then run through the movies as you did on.
Okay, so I grew up. I had this friend Chelsea, you know, growing up, and we were going to be actresses together. I swear, every day we eat, breathe. You know, we took our own acting classes. I mean, we were crazy about acting. We were going to be famous. We already had our like celebrity husbands and everything all picked out and everything. And so like high school, you know, like comes and goes, and I kind of like branch off onto my own. And I remember at one point I was like, I'm going to be a big star, and I kept auditioning for everything and not getting any roles. And I was like, it couldn't be because I suck as an actor. It couldn't be. It's only because, you know, these other people know the director, or they do this, or there's always some excuse why I'm not getting.
They're blowing him in the back.
Because, like, why
They're
else?
sucking their way to the top.
Why else
Each
am
one
I?
at a time.
I'm a 5'8" munchkin in The Wizard of Oz. Like, how is this happening every time? Like, I can't get any roles. So I'm 16, and I decide, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to make my own film, and I'm going to be the star. And so I wrote, it's called The Stalker, and it is a piece of crap. It stars like three people. It stars three people other than myself, two of which are my siblings.
What kind of camera was it done on?
It was like my dad's, whatever he had in the
some camera.
It was like Super 8 or whatever that, like 8 millimeter, whatever that.
Oh, it was actually like a reel-to-reel kind of camera?
No, it's like the tape. It was like a tape you put in.
Okay.
And,
like a small tape?
Like now you could probably pick one up like $10 at the pawn shop.
It's 8 millimeters. What it
Was it?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Small tape?
Yeah, small tape. And so we get it. We're out in the alleyway, and we're ready to film scene one. And I have thought of everything except one thing: who the hell is gonna run the camera? And so I'm looking at my friend at the time, Rupee, and it was her nickname. And I was like, well, you need to run the camera, because I can't. I'm the star. Like, this is duh, you know. So she was like, I don't want to run. I don't want responsibility. Like, don't put that shit on me. I agreed to be in this. You're lucky I did that.
This is my film. I'm the star. You make me look good on camera.
I've always been like very like do it myself kind of person. Like I don't take the word no. I'm like, no, I will just do it my own way, and that's how I will do it.
But you can't film yourself and act at the same time.
Actually, you can. That's how I filmed the whole first movie. Was I would like literally, I would sit down on. There's one scene where I'm sitting on the floor talking to my boyfriend, which is my brother in the movie. But no, we didn't kiss or anything. It was just he was the only guy I knew that would agree to be in it. And so
come be in my shitty movie.
I was like pencil drawing my head. Like I'd sit Indian style, and I would like draw with a pencil on my head on the wall behind me. That's where my head is. So then I would set up the camera, and I'd make sure that pencil line is like in there, and then I'd go erase the pencil line, and I'd sit down and let it just roll and do a bunch of takes. And I filmed it all myself. Like, nobody's even present when I'm filming, like, 90% of this movie. My family didn't even know I was making a movie. They thought I was rearranging my room because I had everything in boxes. And all of a sudden, one day, I was like, we're premiering my movie. And they were like, oh, what movie are we talking about? I'm like, this new one that's about to rock your socks. And like, I showed them, and my mom was like, damn, it's actually pretty good. Like, you got something there. So I just kept on and was just like, I love this. I love being able to tell somebody to do something and you actually listen for once. Like, even if I never make $1, if I continuously stay in the red at it my whole life,
I saw you looking at me.
I'll still die.
I was talking to Eddie.
Oh, okay. I will.
He did one of those eye looks at me and then looked away right when I noticed him.
But yeah, I love it. I love everything about it. I love everything about it.
So, how long after that did you get into making another movie? And was
it
that like the moment when you realized like I need to be behind the camera?
Yeah.
That I want to make
I
tons
was like,
of these.
oh, this is amazing, and I have so many ideas. I've been like a creative writer since I was 5. I wrote my first short story. It's called Restaurant of Blood, and I was 5 years old.
Wow.
In DOS. Do you remember DOS?
Yeah.
Okay, I had DOS and was typing it up on like a dot matrix printer and everything, and I'm reading this 5-page story to my parents about how this guy opens up this restaurant and he's feeding the townspeople to the other townspeople, and they're loving it.
There was a
like,
movie they did that in where they like I'm sure it's been in a bunch of movies, but like what they do, it was like a big movie. They killed a guy and then like barbecued him and fed him to the town.
Yeah.
No more evidence. CSI that.
Yeah. And my parents
feed it to the hogs. They'll eat everything.
Are like, you're very disturbed, and but. I mean, if you know my parents are pretty disturbed too. So that doesn't fall too
like
far.
right out of the box, you're like into sci-fi horror stuff.
Oh, absolutely. I was. Oh, my mother had this writing room growing up that was full of demon skulls and candelabras and fake cobwebs and horror books out the ass. I mean, from wall to wall horror books, and I would just sit in there and like read. And I mean, I used to bring like Stephen King into my like second grade classes and be reading it. My teacher's like, something's wrong with her.
I've noticed some people like take someone's love for a horror movie like really the wrong way in a sense. Like you ever laughed your ass off really hard at a part in a movie that's not really funny,
not
but
funny.
to you it is. You know, and they're like, you're kind of weirding me out. It's not that funny.
My husband has a part.
Know, it's like twisted murder and funny, and you know.
I'm more of an art person. Like I respect art.
Yeah.
But I'm not like into horror movies really.
Yeah.
Like that's not really like now. There is a few that I really like Devil's Rejects.
It's an
and
acquired
stuff like
taste
that. Like,
for
that
sure.
stuff's really good. Like, but it's the art that I more like about those movies.
Yeah.
It's not so
how
much
they
the
make
horror
that,
and stuff.
How they do that.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
You know, special effects and like.
It's an acquired taste, and you know I did
when I was a kid, you know, like watching like chasing movies and like they're having sex and he cuts her in half, and, you know, stuff like that. Like you're like, whoa! But as I got older, I realized like I'm not really into horror movie stuff, but occasionally there's something that's really great out there that's just like, wow, this is cool.
Kinda blows
you know?
If it's a real deep storyline, it can reach more people as far as outside the fan of genre.
More of a suspense thriller kind of person. Like I like things that are intense, but not necessarily like
bloody,
gory.
Yeah. Well, my last film was, and I almost like Loverboy is actually like mostly thriller suspense. And there's like very little gore until the end, and then there's only a little bit. And I always like faulted myself for that. Like looking back at it now, I'm like, I'm so ashamed of you. You should have put more blood in there. Like, what is that? That's like a joke, you know? And people are like, I loved it. I thought it was realistic without being like over the top 80. I'm like, man, if it were up to me, every movie would be an 80s horror movie with like blood shooting out of the walls and you know, someone having that Carrie moment where they're just covered in it, and that's just what I like. I mean,
like blood.
I love blood.
over the top blood.
I'm fascinated with blood.
Can be neat though, like Kill Bill when they're and it's just absurdly amounts of blood that obviously is not real, but
I think
they did it with the right style. She's running around crazy like old.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
Genius.
It fit.
Okay, so let's do Mr. White because you know we're down to 10 minutes already.
Wow.
It goes quick. It goes quick, man. Everybody's like, you need to do 2 hours.
That's a good thing.
No,
well, I panicked when we came in
is.
here. I saw an hour, and I was like, is this really an hour show? It's like, what am I going to see?
It goes quick.
And then, I was like, wow, it's gone.
2 minutes left. So, dive into Mr. White and how it came about and how you wrote it, you know, anything that you want to tell about it, but don't spoil your movie.
Yeah, no, I'll try not to spoil, but I'll tease a little bit with it. We made Loverboy. Loverboy won Best Florida Feature Film at Freak Show, and I, at the time, very proud of it. I'm still very proud of it, but I felt like it was very difficult when I was putting it in festivals.
Now, where's the Freak Show? Is that
Freak Show is in Orlando?
Yeah,
okay. But I mean, we were in festivals all over, but that's the one we won. Like this big, great, amazing
independent
award.
film, basically independent type film festival. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's a convention too, so it's always really fun.
Networking.
Highly recommend it. Loved it.
Fund me, please.
Yeah. And so it was very tough because when you're putting it into festivals, they ask you, is this a thriller or a horror? And of course, I want to say horror, but I know it's a thriller because it's not a horror. And there were some that were like, if you put it in horror, you're up against horror movies. If you put it in thriller, you're up against other thriller movies. So it's like, which one are we going to do better in? If we're, if we're in thriller, and there's like 5 movies in thriller, and we're in horror, and there's 100 movies in horror, which one do we have a better chance at? So, but on this one, I told my husband, I was like, I want to have something where I don't even question it. I need something horror. It needs to be horror. It needs to be every fiber of its being needs to be horror. And I'm a big fan of 80s. I love 80s horror in every way, shape, or form. So we have a lot of bright colors. We have a lot of that 80s kind of feel. That's like kind of, I'm trying to make that kind of my thing. A lot of, bursts of color here and there. Yeah.
Keep it 80s.
Yeah, keep it 80s. And, there's plenty of blood in this one.
My shit is so 80s, it's Pall Mall.
It's supposed to be. I love this one because it's a monster film. I've never really pictured myself doing, like, a monster film, like, full out. But I love it so much, like, I can't wait to do it again because I sculpted the mat, like I sculpted it. It's not like a Halloween mask. I mean, I created it from scratch. I made a mold. I painted the latex. I haired it. I sprayed, I painted it. I made multiple masks. One that has like the mouth that opens and the mouth that doesn't open, and hands and. You got
like the Mach 1 and the Mach 5 and the Mach 7.
Exactly. There's like the 2.0 version.
Iron Man with monster makeup.
Exactly. And so I created them, and as I'm doing it, like the thing is freaking me out, and I'm like, all right, I think if it's freaking me out, then we're good to go.
Yeah, if it looks good on reality,
everything just came together so wonderfully for the movie. We had a lot of community support. We had a lot of really talented actors. We have Amber Watson. She's been in a lot of my movies, and she is phenomenal. Stepped up her game incredible amounts. We have some newcomers. We got like Julie Travato and a bunch of really talented Tony Lee, a bunch of very talented people that came on board for this I've never worked with that just blew me away.
Are any of them like a little more experienced actors?
Yeah, some of them have never been in anything before. They were like, hey, this was Eddie's first film, and he rocked it, man. Eddie plays a crazy in my movie. He plays a lunatic.
Yeah, just act natural.
I was like, I met him and I was like, this needs to happen,
Did you audition for that part?
Yeah, he auditioned for
that part specifically.
Actually,
he just auditioned.
Part. The lady was like, "What part are you going for?" I'm like, "I don't know." She's like, "We got a part for a jerk off."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, let me see that. I'll go for that."
He did it, and I was just
so
like,
you didn't even like have the script before you auditioned or anything. You just walked in there and was like,
everybody
all right,
gets sides. Yeah. Everybody gets sides, which is one page of the script. And your part is highlighted, and somebody else off screen reads it to you, and it is nerve-wracking. It is nerve-wracking as hell. Like I have been on that side of the screen. I get nervous and sweaty for them, just watching them get nervous. But we, almost everybody that auditioned made it.
Batman voice on.
Yeah.
Almost everyone that auditioned made it in some form or another, and I have just been blown away. I mean, we have some very talented people. I was very nervous because there's a flashback scene in the film where they talk about Mr. White before he's this voodoo hexed monster. He was a person. He was an evil person, loosely based off this murderous doctor woman in New Orleans a long time ago that used to torture her slaves horrendously.
So this is like kind of based off of like something real.
Yeah, it's loosely based, and it's a he now. And the torture's a little bit different, but it's the same sort of thing, and it's still the New Orleans feel and stuff like that.
There's always a little bit of truth in a story.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Regardless if it's sci-fi or not, or horror or fiction.
What you're
I was very nervous because my husband's, talking with me about the script, and I was like, I don't know how this is going to go over very well because I'm not... I'm not sure how many people are going to show up to be plantation workers. And my husband's like, you mean slaves? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, so, and I was like trying to be so PC about it. I didn't write massa or anything into the script. And I was like, no, like, you got to understand, this is a vital part of the script. And I'm trying to be so, like, not offensive about anything, and my husband's like, this is gonna be a train wreck.
Not Django style.
And so on the questionnaire, the audition questionnaire is like, are you African American? And if you say yes, it says, if you are African American, do you have a problem with playing a plantation worker? And like, I got so many like, no, I am not okay with you, making me a slave. So
But that's, I mean, you're coming to act. Like, you're acting.
So
that. It's not like she's. It's not like you're gonna come out there and actually get put into a slave film and pick cotton.
Or you wouldn't be in front of the camera.
And this is what's fascinating. Like
don't audition for something if you're not expected to do the unexpected.
We got some of the most talented people that were like, yeah, sure, whatever, I'll play. You mean a slave, right? And I was like, I mean a slave. And they were like, that's cool. I was like,
slave worker.
I was like, well, I'm not gonna make you say massa or anything like that. And they're like, no, it's cool. That's what slaves would have said. So they're on screen. Anytime they're on screen, be like, yes, massa or anything like that. I did not write that. They all like threw that back in.
They put it in. They
it was the greatest day though, because it was like 108 degrees. We have nowhere to go that has AC. We are on the sorry, Kelly, if I just massacre your name, the Fuquay Sawmill in Ocala. And it is the hottest Florida summer day you can imagine. There is like almost no shade anywhere on this like whole compound, and there's no like we got it on a day they're closed down, so there's no access to any buildings or bathrooms or anything like that. And we were there for like 14 hours filming in the sun, and we've got and not just that, we have all these people dressed up in like full slave garb, like long sleeves and gloves and boots and
like everything. the promo picture that you did.
Everyone in the promo picture was there, and then
they was like, "Fuck you, massa."
No, you know what? That was the funnest. I would say that it was the most fun day of filming.
This movie better make some money, white bitch.
Exactly. We were on the set. We were on the set, and like we
say they're okay until you're not directing.
We had like those like cheap ass popsicles that you like cut the top off of, and we had like cold beer for everyone and cold sandwiches, and like Lloyd, our costume designer, brought rags that we dunked in ice water for everybody's neck when they were off screen and stuff. And we had like music blaring out of the cars and stuff in between the scenes. And there's spiders everywhere. The heat just feels like it's just nuking you. But everybody made it so fun. We were just cracking up. We had one of our crew members, Ray Velez, was there doing this Christopher Walken impression all day. I mean, it was just the most fun experience. And I was like, I looked at my husband.
Have you heard the thing about his birthday?
No.
Like when he does movies, he mopes around until somebody's like, "Everything okay? Are you all right?" And he's like, "Well, it's my birthday." Yeah. He gets him to like buy him a cake like every movie he does. Yeah. I don't know how true that is.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I heard somebody that did a movie with him talk about it.
But I mean, I told my husband, like, my husband, poor guy, like, he's there for support, like, the whole day, and helping me carry around all this heavy-ass equipment and stuff like that. And by the end of the day, we're, like, driving home. We're exhausted. We're 14 hours in, and he looks at me, and he's like, I was really glad that you didn't cut that scene from the script like I told you to, because that was actually a lot of fun. Yeah, that's the sawmill right there.
Yeah, hell yeah. Go ahead and plug up all your stuff.
Okay.
You got what, MrWhiteTheMovie.com?
Yeah, MrWhiteTheMovie.com. We're better on Facebook right now because it's easy for me to access. Facebook.com/I am Mr. White, and that's MISTER, not MR. A lot of people spell it.
Yeah. I checked before I looked for it. I asked Eddie. I said,
it's all spelled out.
So is it MR? Is it abbreviated or is it Mr.?
I always like to have. I always like to have some sort of something weird in the title so that it doesn't always overlap somebody else's. Like Loverboy's all in capitals and Mr. White's spelled out. But yeah, I am Mr. Facebook.com/I am Mr. White, and definitely check us out on there. We got tons of stills and We're having an official trailer that comes out next month, premiere early this summer, either May or June. And right now we're raising the last of our money on Kickstarter to try to get in the festival circuit.
And you
this
guys
year.
made it on Kickstarter.
We made it. We can still, we're still accepting donations because the more we get, the more festival.
the more you get.
And every festival can
How many festivals is that going to put you in?
It depends. Every festival is between about $20 and $70. So a lot of those like $70.
So you should be able to get into a nice
we're gonna
chunk
get.
of. Nice.
I'm a Jew, so I'm gonna maximize every penny of that money to the fullest. I will find a festival that is like $21.57 if that's what it takes. I will make sure that it is used wisely. So.
Modern movies.
How about we come up there and we run a booth and you knock off $50?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll send the guy to come up there. Yeah.
But
a guy knows a guy. We'll do lunch.
We're very excited about it. I actually just sent it out to the first festival. There's one called the Viscera Festival in Los Angeles that's just for women directors, and I just, fingers crossed, I just sent that out yesterday after busting my ass to get it done in time for the last few months, and I'm very, very excited with how it turned out. It blows all of my other movies out of the water, so if you've seen any of my other movies and you're not as impressed, please give Mr. White a chance because it will
best
blow
work
you
you've
away.
ever did.
It is definitely the best work I've ever done, and everybody does a great job. And I don't feel like there's any weak links in this film at all. Everybody,
And what's
production?
The production company is Keeka Productions.
Yeah, Keeka Productions. Keeka is
Spell
my
that.
nickname. Keeka Productions. Yeah.
Is it productions.com? Like
KeekaProductions.com.
KeekaProductions.com?
That'll pull up our movies. That'll also pull up my wedding business, and I do like wedding videography and music.
That's
videos
your
and stuff.
whole, all your production
That's like my
stuff.
blanket. Yeah, that's my blanket. That's
my
everything.
job.
That's everything.
That's my job.
If you want to pay me, you go to KeekaProductions.com. That's how you get a hold of me. If you just want to see my movie, MrWhite.com, Loverboythemovie.com, Facebook.com/Loverboythemovie.
Sweet.
So, yep.
And I think that's not what I meant to do.
Yeah, that's the site.
So what it's Mr. White's supposed to come out in this summer, right?
Yeah, or early summer, either late May, early June, somewhere right around there. And we're going to have a big local premiere. I'll definitely let you know, too. So.
Yeah, whenever you guys start the promo on it and you start to do your rounds to do anything, definitely come back.
We would love that. I'd love that.
So we can tell everybody where they can go watch it. Are you going to tour around? Or are you trying to get it in theaters where it'll be in a select amount of theaters?
I want to get it into the festivals.
I want to get it in AMC.
I want to get it into festivals because a lot of times at festivals, distributors come to the festivals to watch it. And if you win at festivals, distributors are more likely to pick it up and say, hey, we'll give you X amount of dollars to license this and do a theatrical run.
And then you're going to have to spend 2/3 of that on promotion.
Exactly. But we may, if we don't get any interest from, serious distributors, we're going to self-distribute, and which we've done in the past, and we've been pretty successful. We distributed Loverboy on Amazon and on our website, and we ended up making all the money for Mr. White, minus a couple bucks for food, so they're starting to pay for themselves even just through self-distribution. So
sweet. Well, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks
and
for
Eddie.
having me.
We'll definitely have both of you guys back on separate projects and stuff you guys have going on. And appreciate you guys coming on the show to talk about the movie.
Awesome.
And
Not a problem,
Only
man.
Another Day. Facebook.com/Only Another Day is the other movie that Eddie's in.
And that premieres when?
March 23rd. It's going to be at the drive-in in Ocala.
Sweet.
Excellent.
Sweet. So
it's going to be neat.
Hit them up. Check out Mr. White. We'll keep everybody posted. Next week's show, we have New Era coming on. Just signed, last month, signed to TVT Records.
Oh, wow.
Turkey Vulture.
New Era rocks.
New Era. Yeah, have you heard New Era?
I love New Era.
They're like a new metal.
Yeah.
Well, I love all kinds of metal now.
Yeah, New Era is great.
I actually forgot that I'll plug a band I met with my phone and shit.
My theme song is New Era.
No shit.
That's
okay.
New Era.
Well,
like the. You'll hear it in a second.
Cool.
We'll show you some New Era stuff.
I met a band through the computer, Malignant Empire. Their name and their artwork intrigued me. Their music's fucking kick-ass. They're a bunch of kick-ass band. It's just
sweet.
Fucking gotta check them out. They're like just exposing the truth metal. They're
cool.
a black and death metal band from Lafayette, Louisiana. So they're doing their own thing.
Hell
You
yeah.
know, I love anything that's doing their own thing, regardless
From the
of
bayou.
what people think. You know,
There
we're
better be
doing
some
what
jazz in
fuck we
it.
feel.
Better be some jazz in
Oh,
it.
I knew.
Better be some jazz. Make
Good
it
old-
Cajun.
good old metal, man.
Make it
Good old
spicy.
Make it spicy.
Yeah. You going down?
Love me some Cajun.
So yeah, next week, New Era. Check us out live every Saturday, 10 p.m. Swervey Jones Show, hosting Bouillon Running Broadcast, and we will see you guys next weekend. Don't forget to hit the website up, RiseandShineNetwork.com. Hit the store, buy a t-shirt, RealRebelClothing.Spreadshirt.com, and that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah.